Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we are strapping in for what is, I think, probably the most critical conversation happening in music right now.
Absolutely.
For years, we've talked about AI, as this potential future thing, a disruptor down the line.
Right.
Well, now, in 2025, that future, it's here. AI isn't just knocking on the door anymore.
No, it walked right in, didn't it?
Totally. Walked in, sat down at the mixing console, and it's basically offering to write the next big hit.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Right.
Because if 2024 was all about cautious experiments, novelty, 2025 is the year AI crosses what our sources are calling a critical threshold.
A critical threshold, okay.
Yeah. It's not some futuristic idea anymore, debated in academic papers. It's really baked into daily musical life now.
So it affects everyone, like producers, fans.
Everyone, whether you're a top-tier producer using a brand new AI-powered DAW or just a fan listening to, say, a playlist that adapts to your mood on your commute. It's there.
Okay, so that's the challenge for this deep dive then. We've got this huge stack of sources here covering, well, everything. The tech, the art, the big court rulings.
It's a convergence. Tech, art, and law all colliding.
Exactly. And our mission today is basically to give you a shortcut to help you understand this massive transformation, zeroing in on the 10 big ways the industry's really been reshaped just this year.
And it's crucial, I think, to frame this right from the start. We're looking at a shift where AI isn't primarily seen as a replacement for artists. Not yet, anyway.
More like a tool.
A very complex, very adaptable, and incredibly efficient tool. But, and this is the big but, this tool demands totally new thinking, new ethics, new rules for using it, and especially new legal frameworks to protect human creativity.
Right. The legal side is huge.
It is. So let's start with the nuts and bolts, yeah. How AI is becoming this co-pilot in actually making music.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's a working musician or producer, this is probably where they're feeling the change most immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
These technical hurdles that used to take like years of practice to get over, suddenly they're just evaporating.
That's a great way to put it. Let's start right at the beginning. Idea generation, composition.
Okay.
Our sources are confirming like a real explosion in 2025. These user-friendly AI platforms, they're instantly generating everything. Chord progressions, melodies that fit, even lyrics in the right style.
Instantly, wow.
Pretty much. And the key thing is accessibility. They're intuitive enough that a total beginner can jump right in.
But powerful enough for pros, too.
Exactly. Powerful enough for a seasoned composer who's just looking for a spark, a different direction.
That sounds like the ultimate democratizer, then.
It really does.
If you're a solo artist, maybe, or a smaller band always, like strapped for cash and time, you don't necessarily need to hire that expensive session player anymore. Or spend days just banging your head against the wall trying to find the right chord change.
That's the idea. You can instantly expand your options, your repertoire, just using these tools as a jumping-off point.
So the AI becomes like a collaborator.
A tireless one. A non-judgmental collaborator that never runs out of ideas. It lets musicians spend less time on the sort of foundational stuff.
The basic building blocks.
Right. And more time on arranging, performing, interpreting, the human stuff.
Okay, right here at the very start, you hit that authenticity debate immediately, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It heats up fast.
The purists are going to argue, well, if you rely on an algorithm, you're diluting the human touch. It makes music sound samey, predictable.
And that's a valid concern. But we also need to remember, the history here.
What do you mean?
Hasn't almost every big tech innovation in music faced that exact same criticism? Synthesizers.
Oh, yeah. Drum machines.
Auto-tune. People hated auto-tune at first.
Right. Good point. The difference now is maybe the speed, the scale.
Exactly. Scale and speed. But this authenticity debate, it flags a genuinely new problem this time, which is the IP issue, right at creation.
Okay. The intellectual property. If the AI spits out the perfect, totally original chord sequence, who owns it?
Who's the author? How do you split the royalties? It's murky, super murky.
Because the AI generated it.
Yeah, and it usually generated it based on training on millions of existing songs. So the industry is scrambling, really, to create solid frameworks for this. Co-writing credits involving AI.
Are there models emerging for that?
Some AI platform providers are suggesting things like maybe a fractional ownership, like 50% for the human who prompted it, maybe 25% to the AI company for using their tech.
Okay.
And then maybe the other 25% potentially set aside for whoever's work was in the training data. But that last part, That's legally explosive right now.
Wow. And that must mess up the existing structures, right? Like ACE CAP or BMI, the PROs.
Totally messes them up. Performance rights organizations are built entirely around human authors and fixed royalty splits. They've spent decades figuring out how to get money from, radio play back to the human songwriter.
And now they have to track fractions owned by a machine
Yeah.
or a company.
Precisely. And define what counts as enough human input to even qualify for a split. It's a headache.
Yeah.
And it's why those U.S. Copyright Office rulings we'll get to later are so important. They're trying to bring clarity.
Okay, makes sense. So moving from just getting the idea down to actually building the track, the next big thing is the DAW, right? The digital audio workstation.
Okay. Yeah, and they're not just software toolboxes anymore. They've really shifted into being active creative partners.
How so?
Well, the AI DAW in 2025, it's designed to anticipate what you need, to smooth out the workflow, eliminate those annoying technical clicks and drags, even recover creative mistakes.
Recover mistakes. Like what?
We'll get to that. It's all about maximizing that precious time when you're in the zone,
Yeah, definitely. So we've got some specific examples.
Yeah, several great ones showing different ways AI is being used in DAWs this year. Game-changing stuff.
Okay, lay it on us. Where do we start?
Let's start with maybe the most transformative one. RipX DAW. They're actually marketing it as the world's first true AIW.
Bold claim. What makes it true AI?
Its core thing is this RIP audio format.
Yeah.
It basically fuses audio and MIDI editing in a way that's, well, it's pretty groundbreaking.
Fuses audio and MIDI. How does that work?
So the AI does this incredible stem separation, like 6 or more, stems directly from a finished mixed track.
Whoa, from just the stereo file.
Yep. So remixers, producers, engineers, they can grab individual bits, vocals, drums, even single notes within a chord.
No way.
Yeah, and then manipulate them like they were MIDI data. Change the pitch, swap instruments, whatever.
Okay, that is huge because before this kind of AI, if you didn't have the original session files, getting clean separation was basically impossible.
A nightmare. You were stuck with clumsy tools like EQ, filtering, phase tricks, often left things sounding weird or thin, artifacts all over the place.
So RipX just solves that.
Pretty much. You can change the pitch of one snare hit in a finished drum loop, add reverb to just one bass note, replace the piano with guitar, all without the original multi-tracks.
That completely changes remixing and restoration too, I guess.
Absolutely. It shifts it from being this kind of careful, surgical process to something much more fluid, like creative recomposition.
Okay, wow. What else is happening in the DAW space?
Well, Universal Audio's LNA, version 1.9, is leaning hard into the AI as a studio assistant idea.
Okay.
They introduced Hey Luna for voice control.
Voice control in the DAW.
Yeah. Plus, smart instrument detection, automatic tempo mapping, things to cut down clicks and keep you focused.
I can see the voice control being useful, especially when you're like tracking guitar and need to punch in, but your hands are busy.
Exactly. Just shout, "Hey Luna, record," and it does it. It keeps you in the performance, not fiddling with the computer. Less admin, more music.
Nice. And Apple's Logic Pro, they're usually in the mix.
Yep. Logic Pro 11.2 has some clever stuff too. More like creative safety nets. Features like flashback capture.
Flashback capture? What's that?
It automatically records those little moments, those abandoned takes you might have just played, then deleted or thought you lost. The spontaneous ideas.
Oh, that's brilliant. How many times have I lost a great idea like that?
Happens all the time. Plus, Logic's got an enhanced stem splitter now too, making remixing easier.
Yeah.
And an AI notepad for lyric suggestions while you work.
So the DAW is becoming like a collaborator that also saves you from yourself?
Pretty much. An intelligent partner providing input and catching your mistakes. And then there's FL Studio.
Fruity Loops. Still going strong.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
FL Studio 2025 introduced Gopher.
Gopher.
Yeah, it's an AI assistant trained specifically on the huge FL Studio manual. It gives you live guidance.
Like a built-in tutor.
Exactly. If you're stuck on, say, sidechain compression or complex routing, Gopher can pop up with instructions right there in your session. Lowers the barrier to entry for complex techniques.
That's smart, helping users learn the deeper features.
Right. And we shouldn't forget others like Studio One Pro 7, adding neural tempo detection, smart sample searching with Splice, the theme across the board, efficiency, hyper-efficiency.
Which leads us nicely into the utility tools, right? The post-production stuff.
Yep. The tools that handle the traditionally tedious, detailed work, the polish.
Making everything sound pro.
Take mastering. Landar Mastering, for example, uses its Synapse engine. It analyzes your audio, custom builds a mastering chain using algorithms.
Fully automated.
Mostly. But here's the key part. That engine is constantly being refined and checked by actual human mastering engineers.
Ah, so it's a hybrid approach, human oversight.
Exactly. That human-AI collaboration is crucial for quality control. The human keeps the soul. The AI ensures technical perfection, or tries to.
Makes sense. What about vocal cleanup? That's always a big one for home studios.
Oh, it's revolutionary there. Landar Rehans, for instance. AI software cleaning up recordings, removing background noise, nasty room reverb, mic bleed, clipping, plosives.
Plosives, the bane of my existence.
Right. So if you, like most people starting out, recorded vocals in a less than ideal space, maybe without a pop filter, this tech can potentially make that raw track sound studio quality.
That is huge for accessibility. That's the difference between a demo and something you can actually release.
It really democratizes that quality ceiling that used to cost thousands in gear and room treatment.
Amazing. And one more utility.
Stem separation again, but as a specialized tool like LLL.ai. They use their own AI for super clean separation, getting pristine vocal acapellas or instrumentals when you don't have the original files.
So RipX does it inside the DIA. LALL does it as a standalone tool for specific needs.
Kind of, yeah. It's invaluable for producers who just need that clean vocal stem fast. Another historical pain point just solved by AI.
Okay, so if Section 1 was about how music gets made faster, better, cheaper, Section 2 feels like it's about what the music actually sounds like now and how we experience it.
Exactly. AI adoption is fundamentally changing the aesthetics, the sound itself, and definitely the artist-audience relationship.
So what does AI music even sound like in 2025? Is there one sound?
Not at all. There's a definite spectrum emerging. On one end, you've got artists like Skaga E or Taryn Southern from a few years back. Their AI-assisted music is deliberately made to sound, well, normal.
Indistinguishable from human-made stuff.
Pretty much. They're using the tech for efficiency, for seamless genre stuff, aiming for sounds that fit right into existing playlists, mass appeal.
Okay. But then there's the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, the more experimental side. This has been bubbling since around 2017, but it's really hitting its stride now. These artists intentionally embrace the flaws, the syntheticness of the AI.
They want it to sound like AI.
Some do.
Yeah.
Our sources point to this, leading to what's being called the uncanny aesthetic.
Uncanny, like familiar but weird. Creepy almost.
Exactly that. Familiar yet strange or unsettling. Artists like Gantasmo or Caramel Freeman, they're actively cultivating this. They might use hypersynthetic voices, clearly machine-generated, audible glitches or artifacts from the AI.
But still with normal song structures.
Often, yeah. Familiar rhythms, familiar forms, but with this unsettling synthetic layer on top.
Why do that, though? Why make it sound?
It's often deliberate choice. Allows them to explore modern themes like alienation in a digital world. The synthetic voice becomes a metaphor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Using the tech to comment on the tech's impact. Meta.
Very meta. Intentional imperfection as social commentary.
Interesting. Beyond the sound quality itself, you mentioned AI breaking down genre barriers.
Yeah, that's huge. Multi-genre output is way easier now. Think about it. Historically, you'd spend years mastering jazz or dubstep. The rules, the history, the sound design.
Right, a deep dive into one specific thing.
Now, AI models can instantly blend styles, create hybrids that were technically super hard, or maybe nobody even thought of before. It just opens up completely new sonic territory. Less gatekeeping.
And we're also seeing the legal stuff influencing the art. You mentioned artists curating their own data.
Yes, definitely. With all the lawsuits and the intense focus on training data, artists are getting really deliberate about what they feed their AI model.
To protect themselves legally and sonically.
Both. It's leading to this idea of data curation as art, instead of using giant generic models trained on, the whole internet.
Which might have copyright issues baked in.
Exactly. Artists are choosing to build their own small, specific data sets. Training models only on their own sounds, their own recordings.
Like programming a synth back in the day? Crafting your own unique palette?
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
They're crafting a unique sonic fingerprint for their AI, ensuring the output is distinct and, crucially, legally safer because they own the source material.
Got an example of that.
Yeah, the electronic duo Empty Set. They apparently used just 10 hours of their own improvised, unreleased recordings to train their model.
Only 10 hours? That's tiny compared to the big model.
Tiny. But it gave their AI a very specific, unique sound based only on their work. No generic web data, no potential copyright infringement from the training set. Smart.
Very smart. Okay, shifting from creation to consumption. Hyper-personalization. That's been a buzzword for years in streaming. What's new in 2025?
It's going way beyond just, if you like this, you'll like that. Okay. Personalization now is becoming dynamic, granular, truly context-aware.
What does context-aware mean in practice?
Imagine your streaming app adjusting what it plays, based not just on your history, but on text. Maybe your real-time emotional state, picked up from a wearable.
Whoa, seriously?
Or simpler things, external data like the weather forecast. Is it raining? Okay, here's some instrumental lo-fi, the time of day. Knowing you like upbeat stuff in the morning, it adapts.
That's pretty cool. A bit creepy, maybe, with the emotion tracking?
Yeah, it's the ethical tightrope, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. But think about social listening, too.
Like playlists for groups.
Exactly. They're finally cracking the code on the road trip argument.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
No more fighting over the AUX chord.
Well, maybe less fighting. Advanced data analysis could let platforms create genuinely collaborative playlists, tailored to everyone in the car or at a party.
How would that work?
The AI acts like a sophisticated mediator. It weighs everyone's tastes, finds the common ground, maybe minimizes the tracks someone actively dislikes, maximizing social harmony through algorithms.
Huh. Okay, I could see that being useful. But again, the data. People must be asking questions about how all this personal info is being used.
They absolutely are, and they should be.
Yeah.
How is my listening behavior, my mood data, my location being stored? Used by streaming services, by labels. Transparency is becoming essential for trust.
And this lack of trust, maybe, is feeding into another trend you mentioned, the community resurgence.
Correct. We're seeing a bit of a pushback against the giant mainstream-focused platforms, a move towards smaller, community-driven music spaces online.
Places focus more on discovery, niche genres.
Yeah, and meaningful engagement. AI is used in these hubs too, but often more as that mediator balancing preferences and shared playlists, helping run voting systems for community charts, less about pushing commercial hits, more about shared discovery.
And maybe fairer pay for artists on those platforms.
That's often a core goal, yeah. More transparent, potentially fairer revenue models that aren't just based on massive stream counts.
Okay, now for the really futuristic stuff. New mediums, AI voices, generative albums.
This is where AI stops being just a tool and becomes the medium itself. A big trend is artists releasing AI models of their own voices.
Like licensing their voice?
Kind of. We've seen Holly Herndon do it, Grimes with Elf.tech, Seb Deliza. They create an official AI model of their singing voice.
And other people can use it?
Yeah, under license. It allows other creators to make new songs featuring that artist's synthesized voice. A new way to collaborate? Sort of.
How does the money work on that?
They've been smart. Typically, tracks using these official AI voices require a hefty royalty split, often around 50% going back to the original artist.
So the artist stays in control financially and creatively of their digital likeness.
Exactly. It embraces the tech, expands their reach, but keeps control. They're treating their voice model like IP that can be licensed out, like a sample, basically.
Clever. And generative albums, what's that about? Taking it even further.
Yeah, challenging the whole idea of a fixed, finished album. Something like this Kunst kaput is a great example.
Kunst kaput?
Okay. So there are fixed tracks, but they're just the starting point. Listeners get access to integrated AI tools to remix, rework, and reimagine the tracks themselves.
So the listener becomes a co-creator.
Pretty much. You're not just passively consuming, you're actively participating in the music's evolution.
And the business model is different too, you said.
Totally radical. Listeners who create and share these remixed versions, they share any profits equally with Sinaida, the original artist.
Whoa! Equal split with the fans.
Yeah. She explicitly calls it a challenge to traditional streaming models, calling them broken. The music becomes this living, changing thing, not just a static product.
That's fascinating. And finally, AI in live shows.
Right, making live gigs hyper-responsive, immersive.
How?
Well, AI could potentially analyze crowd reactions in real time, maybe through cameras, maybe wearables, gauging the mood, the energy level.
And then what? Tell the band to play faster.
Kind of. Allow the band or the DJ to adjust the set list, maybe tweak the style, shift the tempo on the fly to keep the energy peaking. The show becomes this dynamic feedback loop with the audience.
That sounds intense. And on the fan side, VR and AR.
Yeah, for virtual concerts, AI could personalize the visuals for each viewer. For in-person gigs, imagine augmented reality overlays.
Like what?
Real-time lyric translations floating near the stage. 3D visuals synced to the music, maybe customized to where you're standing.
Okay, that could be cool. But the surveillance aspect again, analyzing the crowd's emotions.
That's the necessary caution. Our sources definitely raise this. Facial recognition, emotional AI at concerts. Even if it's meant for artistic enhancement, it could easily cross into intrusive surveillance if that data isn't handled extremely carefully and transparently. Big privacy questions there.
Okay, we've touched on the legal side a few times, but now let's really dig in. Ownership, authorship. This is where it gets really critical, right? Especially with the U.S. Copyright Office, the USCO, laying down the law.
Absolutely. This is the bedrock for the entire AI music business right now. It boils down to a fundamental question. Can a machine own a copyright?
And the answer is?
A clear, resounding no. The U.S. Court of Appeals, back on March 21st, 2025, strongly backed up the USCO's position. Works created only by generative AI. They're not copyrightable.
Not copyrightable at all. Public domain.
Essentially, yes, because copyright law, rooted in the U.S. Constitution, requires human authorship, a human creator.
Wow, okay, the immediate impact of that seems massive. What about all those AI music generator platforms? Suno, Udio, the ones getting sued right now.
Well, this ruling suggests that songs generated entirely by those platforms with minimal human input beyond a prompt might just be public domain, unprotected.
Which must please the record labels, the RIAA.
Oh, definitely. It reinforces their position. The RIAA represents the major labels, and they want to protect their huge catalogs from being used to train AI or replicated by AI without permission or payment. The USCO basically said protecting machine-generated stuff undermines the whole point of copyright, which is rewarding human creativity.
Okay, but realistically, most music isn't made solely by AI, right? It's usually a mix. A human using AI tools. Like, no one thinks using an AI-powered EQ plugin suddenly makes your song uncopyrightable.
Exactly. And that's where the complexity comes in. The USCO knows this, so they require a detailed case-by-case analysis for these hybrid works.
Case by case, how do they break that down?
They've set out pretty specific boundaries, looking at it in roughly 3 categories based on the type of human input. This is where the nuance really matters.
Okay, category 1, let's start simple. Prompts. I type in, make me a sad, lo-fi hip-hop beat, 90 BPM, minor key. Is the beat that comes out copyrighted?
No. The USCO ruled prompts themselves are just ideas, and ideas aren't copyrightable.
Why not? I came up with the idea.
Because you lack sufficient creative control over the final output. That's the key legal phrase. You could type that exact same prompt 5 times and get 5 totally different beats.
Ah, I see. Because I can't reliably predict or control the specific expression the AI creates.
Precisely. The human isn't the author of the expressive elements, even if you spend ages refining the prompt engineering. The USCO says that's still not enough creative control to grant authorship of the output.
Okay, that's a high bar. What's category 2 then? Expressive inputs.
Right. Let's say you write a unique melody. You play it on a keyboard, record it. Then you feed that specific melody into an AI and say, build a full track around this. Maybe it adds drums, bass, strings, mastering.
Okay, now what's protected?
In that case, only the part created by the human is copyrighted, so your original melody gets protection.
Just the melody, not the AI-generated backing track.
Correct. That's based on derivative works law. Your melody is original human expression. The AI's contribution, the drums it chose, the string arrangement it generated, the mastering those bits, are seen as machine-generated enhancements of your work. They aren't protected on their own.
So if someone else uses a similar AI drum beat, I can't sue them. But if they copy my melody, I can.
Exactly. But wait, there's a third layer.
Of course there is.
Category 3, modifying or arranging AI content. Let's say you use AI to generate, 50 different bass lines and drum loops. None are protected on their own right.
Right, based on what you just said.
But then you spend hours listening, selecting the best bits, cutting them up, sequencing them, arranging them into a unique song structure. Is that final arrangement copyrightable?
My gut says yes, because the selection and arrangement, that's human creative choice. Human control.
You're right, but with a crucial if. It is copyrightable if the modification, selection, and arrangement demonstrate sufficient creativity.
Sufficient creativity.
So you can copyright the overall structure, the way you combine the sounds, the transitions, because that shows human authorship. But the individual AI-generated sounds within that structure, still not protected.
It's like sampling, almost. The sample itself might be cleared, but your new beat made from the sample is your copyright.
That's a decent analogy. Or think of a film director using AI-generated special effects. The film as a whole is copyrightable because of the human direction, editing, storytelling, but the raw AI visual effect file itself? Probably not.
Okay, this legal framework, It leads straight into the ethical questions, doesn't it? Especially about jobs.
The labor question.
Yeah.
It's huge.
If AI can instantly make a great drum loop or bass line, what happens to session musicians? Engineers, producers, are they just replaced?
That's the core anxiety, isn't it? The sources suggest a pivot is necessary.
Yeah.
Professionals might need to shift from being the hands-on creators to being the guides, the refiners, the curators of AI output.
Become AI conductors.
Something like that. Instead of playing the notes, you're directing the machine that plays the notes, ensuring quality and musicality. But beyond labor, there's the crucial issue of bias, fairness.
Bias in the AI. How?
Well, think about the training data. If an AI model is trained mostly on, say, rock music made by white men from the 70s.
It's going to mostly generate music that sounds like that.
Exactly. It inadvertently privileges that style, that demographic in its output. It can perpetuate historical biases and marginalize other sounds, other creators.
So we need guidelines for training data, make sure it's diverse.
Absolutely critical. Strict guidelines are needed to ensure the data is fair, balanced, representative. Otherwise, AI just becomes a tool for reinforcing the status quo. Homogeneity by default.
And speaking of training data, that's the biggest legal fight right now, isn't it? The lawsuits against platforms like Suno and Udio.
That's the absolute flashpoint. The RIA, representing the major labels and publishers, suing these generative AI companies.
What's the core argument?
That these AI models were trained by scraping vast amounts of copyrighted music from the internet without getting permission and without paying licensing fees.
And the AI companies argue.
They'll likely argue fair use. That using the music for training purposes is transformative and doesn't harm the market for the original songs. It's a massive, complex legal battle.
And the outcome will be huge.
Monumental. It will determine if these AI companies owe potentially billions in damages, and it will shape the entire future of how AI can be trained using existing creative works. The USCO is actually working on a third report expected to tackle this specific fair use for training question. Everyone's waiting for that.
Wow. Okay, moving from the courtroom to, like, popular culture. AI is already completely part of the conversation, isn't it? Even in mainstream music feuds.
Oh yeah, it's fully embedded. Especially in hip-hop, we've seen some high-profile examples go viral. Remember Ghostwriter's Heart on My Sleeve?
The AI Drake and the Weeknd track? Yeah,
Sure.
that blew up. Showed how easy it was to fake celebrity voices.
Exactly. And then the Drake-Kendrick Lamar feud this year. AI was right in the middle of it.
Drake's track with the AI Tupac and Snoop Dogg voices.
Tailor-made freestyle, yeah, he had to pull it down after Tupac's estate objected.
Right.
And then Metro Boomin's Massive Response track, BBL Drizzy.
Yeah.
That beat actually started as an AI-generated track on Udio.
No way, really?
Yeah, someone made the original beat on Udio, it went viral, and then Drake actually ended up rapping over a version of it later. It shows AI isn't just a background thing anymore, it's a tool, a weapon, a source of inspiration, right in the thick of pop culture beefs.
Wild. But it's not all controversy and fake voices, right? There are positive uses, too. Restoration, tribute.
Absolutely. The positive side is just as significant. The Beatles Now and Then is the prime example.
Using AI to clean up John Lennon's old demo vocal.
Exactly. AI tech allowed them to isolate and restore his voice from a really noisy, low-quality cassette recording from the 70s. Made it possible to finish the song decades later, a final Beatles track.
That's pretty amazing, kind of bringing history back to life.
It is. And we saw similar things like new songs released posthumously for Jane Marchelski, Nightbird from America's Got Talent, using her voice model.
Okay.
And even a new song for country legend Randy Travis. He lost his voice due to a stroke years ago, but AI helped synthesize new recordings in his iconic style using his past work.
So AI can help preserve legacies, overcome physical limitations.
It highlights that profoundly positive potential, restoring voices, extending creative legacies, bridging gaps that were impossible to cross before. It's powerful.
Okay, so stepping back, looking at all of this. The AI debuts, the uncanny aesthetics, the huge USDO ruling, the pop culture moments, it really feels like 2025 was the year, a genuine turning point.
It absolutely feels that way. That critical threshold we mentioned at the start has been crossed. AI isn't some future hypothetical anymore.
Right.
It's here. It's baked in. A standard, expected part of how music is made, how it's distributed, how we listen to it, driving massive changes across the board.
And the efficiency is undeniable. You can mock up a score, clean vocals, master a track incredibly quickly.
Unprecedented efficiency, yeah. And the ability to blend genres, explore ideas.
But the big debate, the tension that runs through all our sources seems to be efficiency versus soul.
That's the heart of it. AI can nail technical perfection. It can generate complex stuff based on patterns and data, but the real emotion, the unexpected leap, the personal story, that spark,
That's still human.
that remains exclusively human. Our sources suggest the future trajectory here really depends on us choosing to keep human emotion, human expression, right at the center. Using AI is an incredibly advanced tool, like a new kind of instrument.
Not letting the tool become the artist.
Exactly. Using it as the paintbrush, not the painter.
And it feels like the whole industry is wrestling with that right now. The key question seems to be shifting. It's less, can AI do this? Because the answer is increasingly, yeah, probably.
Right. The tech is moving so fast.
So the question becomes more ethical, sociopolitical. It's shifting to, should AI do this?
That's the urgent question now. And the answer to that will decide whether this whole AI era genuinely helps artists, diversifies creativity, or if it just leads to more consolidation, more homogeneity, controlled by whoever owns the big AI models.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We've talked about the USCO ruling. Purely AI stuff, not copyrightable, needs human authorship.
Right. A clear legal incentive for artists using AI to prove their human contribution.
So, thinking ahead, how will you, if you're a creator using these tools, how will you ethically and securely document your specific human creative input? Your melody choices, your arrangement decisions, the way you tweak the AI parameters. How will you prove your authorship to make sure your copyright is legally solid 5 years down the road?
It really requires thinking about it from the start, doesn't it? Meticulous documentation might be needed, saving draft versions, taking screenshots, detailed production notes, maybe even timestamps.
Yeah. Proof that your creativity, your choices, were essential to the final piece, that you were the author, not just the operator.
Proof that you provided that sufficient creative control the law demands.
Definitely something to think about. Food for thought, indeed. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you for joining us as we navigated this new, sometimes confusing, but definitely exciting world of AI and music.